All right. Party people in the place to be, vandals, and all you people out there on a zombie date night. This is a brand new episode. How did we get here? And this is a pretty rad one, man. Like we are interviewing the first interviewee we've ever had, and the first time we interviewed him was actually for number one of this book. So it's kind of
full circle.
cyclical. Yeah, man. So what's going on, man? We're gonna let you introduce yourself. How you doing, sir?
Sure, I'm doing good. For everybody who doesn't know, my name is Steve Urena. I'm an indie comic creator. I can't believe that this is my fifth year in comics, and the fact that you guys were there for the birth of how my career has been going is pretty crazy. And the fact that we're talking today and look how far we've come, and look how far your show has come. It's awesome. I love that theme song.
Yeah, man. With some really talented youths in Detroit made it for us. A group called Solace.
Awesome. Very cool. But yeah, how are you guys doing tonight? I'm psyched to be here. I'm psyched to talk about Zombie Date Night 2 and whatever else comes our way. I feel like a lot of tangents will be had tonight.
Definitely. Yeah, that's the name of the show though, man. You know what I mean? We live for them tangents.
Yeah, that's all. How did we get here? Exactly. But yeah, things are good. I'm starting to do cons. I'm starting to figure out this indie comic world that we live in, and just trying to have as much fun as possible.
But yeah, you are, man. I've been watching your Instagram. You kind of been living large, man. Like I see you all the time, man. You're at events, you go into wrestling, basketball, man. You're very lively. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool to see in this day and age. I'm a little jealous of you, but like, it's good to see. You know what I mean? Somebody just rocking like you do.
I've been very lucky. So, I live in Connecticut, so I'm right near the city. The cons that I've been picking over the last year, a lot of my friends live nearby, like friends from college, friends from over the years. So I'm able to be like, hey, if I want to go to St. Louis, I'll do a con, make some of the money back at the conventions, hang out with my friends, and then go right back. And it's been lovely. It's been awesome. But yeah, you guys got to get out there. But just make sure you guys don't get deported or put it in anything. It's been crazy out there.
Yeah, man. So, Zombie Date Night 2, for the people that might not know, like kind of introduce the book and kind of like where this new issue is taking it. You know what I mean?
Sure. So Zombie Date Night 2 takes place immediately after the first one. A few months have passed by, and Jack and Ginger are stuck together in the mall with a community of people that they've met, and they're starting to run out of food, and so they have to work together with the people in this group to get to the other side of the mall to get some sustenance before they become food themselves. And it's whether or not, will this relationship go on, or will this relationship happen, or will they be stuck in the friend zone?
Yeah, and you're going all out, man. Like, this looks fun. Just going off of the preview pictures you got, like with the weed whackers. You know what I mean? Like, you're going, full Capcom. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, absolutely. So I love this one because originally I wasn't like it's kind of like in terms of the ideas and like where things go in terms of my comics. I'm like, all right, I'll just see where the wind takes me. And for this one, I wasn't sure if Zombie Date Night 2 was going to come after Foulmouth. But then my girlfriend, or now my fiance, she was the editor on the first one. She's like, oh, we got to get back to Zombie Date Night 2. And then we started talking, and then the ideas started flowing. And I was like, you know what? I think I got something for Zombie Date Night 2. And here we are. So this time around, we got Valentine's, we got T-shirts, we got posters. And if you back the highest tier, you'll even get a Valentine drawn by me.
Yeah, so, I love the Valentine's Day cards. Like, I actually saved them to show. Like, they are so eat, bay, love.
So you didn't go with my suggestions from the last time you did a zombie date night? No condoms, zombie date night condoms.
I tried, but the supply chain, the supply chain's all messed up now. But yeah, no, zombie date night condoms would be great. That might be the when they finally get over the hump, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, just Valentines are drawn by new artist Jason Thomas, and he did a great job on these. So yeah, go check them out.
Yeah, they're really cute. Good stuff.
It's the stuff that you do like that really drew me to you. Like, I remember the Slowpokes one when you made the little PDF to print out. Like that was so gangster, man, and like that. I'm so happy to support you.
So I love doing the Kickstarters because I feel like that's where you could have the most fun. So I think for people, let's say you're running a Kickstarter, if you're watching this and you're a comic creator as well, do a campaign of things you want to see. Like you want to have as much fun as possible. I always want my things to be a party and inclusive and make sure everybody's having fun. Because like, listen, some people who are on Kickstarter are comic people, but some people aren't. So if you're attracted to the shirt or the Valentine's, at least there's something for you to connect to.
And it's nice because you had the same artist come back, right, to do the T-shirt design.
Yes, the T-shirt. Artist Vertebrate 33, good friend of mine. He's been blowing up. He's been in Hot Topic. He's been all over doing different art. He did a Rick and Morty shirt. He did a Terrifier shirt recently. So I was like, "Oh, do you mind doing Zombie Date Night?" He's like, "Oh, absolutely." So the Zombies at the Movies is a pretty great shirt.
Mm-hmm. And on Zombie Date Night 2, it's you have the same artist returning for the second.
Yep,
issue?
same team, same team as the first one. Sergey Domenik was the artist behind the first one, and he came back, and I love that he's starting to get more work and starting to get more notoriety, and he really knocked it out of the park this time with Zombie Date Night 2.
Oh, yeah, he did it in the first issue as well.
Yes,
he's got a great style. I love it. I love his.
Yeah,
and I also like how in the second one it's a little bit more warped than the first one. Like I think that's a great perspective to take because it's like, hey, this zombie invasion is happening and this is our life now. So at the time when I wrote the first one, it was like pandemic time, and they're still living through this thing and trying to make it work.
Right on.
So on the Kickstarter, did you just hit 50% today or yesterday?
Last night hit 50%.
50%.
I do got to say this has been a very tough Kickstarter. I feel like since we've talked last about the first Zombie Date Night, things have just changed completely in terms of social media, reaching people, and trying to get new people. So luckily I'm doing cons all this month. So hopefully that helps things. But, I just feel like, Twitter, I used to reach so much more people on Twitter, and now it's just like an echo chamber. Like you can't really, it's hard to reach people. Blue Sky's been good. I'm trying Reddit. I'm trying TikTok. I'm trying as many different things as I can just to see what works and what doesn't. So, please take a look at the Kickstarter.
Yeah. At cons, do you have a QR code that people can just scan that brings them straight to your campaign?
Yep,
nice.
That's exactly right. Yep.
That's handy when you're at cons. People could just take their phone and be like, all right.
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
Like you sell it to them as a pre-order type thing, and then they can back it right then and there.
Exactly.
Cool.
And this is my first time, running a Kickstarter while I'm doing cons. So it should be very interesting to see. I'm doing Indie Comic Creator Con in Connecticut this weekend. And me and the artist who did the Valentines are actually in we entered a mini comic of the year contest, and we were one of the finalists. So I'll have to send that comic to you. So it's, the theme was space. So I did if Pluto got revenge on all the other planets for kicking him out of the solar system.
Right on. That's awesome. You ever watch the show Psych? One of my favorite lines from Gus is like, "You ever hear about Pluto? That's messed up."
For me, I just think that Pluto got a bad rap, but I thought making it into comic form is so much fun. Like taking the rings off of Saturn and like killing him with it. I'll have to send it over to you. But
that sounds great, man.
Hey, Elle's in the house.
Hey, how you doing? She interviewed me before for Zombie Date Night 2, the first one. So shout out to her. She's been great.
Yeah.
Whenever she's available, she comes on the show every once in a while.
You can make her one of the hosts. She's pretty good.
Oh, well, she's got her own thing going on Phono. We go over there and do some Phono episodes for one night only. They don't do comics. They do more like, what would you say it is, Johnny? Like
weird pop culture, because like they'll cover anything from
weird true crime to
they read these Shrek porno books and review them sometimes. So yeah, like it's a great show, very interesting.
If you guys need something crazy weird to review, so there's a lot of people at my job that are big readers, and there's people that like to read those like trashy romance novels. And somebody found one called Unhinged, and it's a person that falls in love with a door.
That sounds pretty interesting.
Enjoy that.
Yeah,
that's an absolute. How did we get here?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I saw ones about dinosaurs. I was just like on Amazon. I was just like, okay, that that's something.
I feel like the pun name comes first, and then they're like, oh, I got to write that 100-page book or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, read that one. That's awesome.
Oh, she read that one. Yeah, she likes that kind of weird. Like, especially if it's short, she doesn't mind taking the time to read those. L like she likes those weird, funny all like there's this one writer, I don't remember their name. L could probably drop it in the chats, but they do all these
GM Fairy.
Yeah, they do. It started with Shrek, then they did a Red Riding Hood,
The B movie.
The B movie. Yes, they do all these erotic novels.
Well, Red Riding Hood, that's already in the name, so
yeah,
you're good there.
B movie. There's like different ones anyway, and this person, I think they've put out 3 or 4 different novels, and it's all fairy tale kind of stuff, or something like some children's tale, but turned pornographic.
The B movie is that Jerry Seinfeld movie.
Yeah.
But the fact that there is a human and bee relationship in the movie, it's like, what is this?
Yeah, so it makes for some funny episodes anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to her. She's the best. You guys are the best too. This is I'm excited. So what's going on in your lives? What comics are you guys reading?
I just got a bunch of stuff from book outlets, so like it's kind of older stuff, but it's new to me. Like I got a Joe Casey book I really like called XXV.
Gotcha.
It's Roman numerals. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but like that's what it's badass. It's kind of like his version of Frank Miller's Hard Boiled, but it's about this cab driver who has like godly powers kind of, but it's in her tire iron, and she just got to fight this city full of demons, and the art's just so bombastic in it. It's great, man. It's a really, I forget the name of the artist, but he is incredible. Like it's like on the Darrow level of like just fucking visceral cool cities with monsters and shit. Like
hell yeah, that's awesome.
That's kind of like what I'll shout out. Joe, what about you, man?
Oh, I've been reading some Atsushi Kaneko. Yeah, I finished Search and Destroy.
That one's amazing. That one I was so like you know what I mean? Like I do okay in comics, but then you read something that's like exceptional, you're like, fuck, I suck. Like this is so good.
So I read all 3 volumes of that because it's already been translated into French. So I got the French edition. So I got all 3 books of that, which I think the English translation from Fantagraphics, Volume 1 is already out, and I think 2 drops in June. So people are into that, then Volume 2 will be dropping in June. So if you buy Volume 1 now and read it, you won't have to wait as long as the people who read it right when it first came out, because it'll be dropping in June, which it shouldn't be, that's 3 months away, about 3, 4?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, then I got Bambi and Her Pink Gun, but I got in French the whole 6-ish, the whole 6-volume series has been translated into French, so I bought the run in French, and I'm up to book 4 on that one, and that one's really good. That's like Grindhouse kind of. He takes everything he loves and puts it into this book, so you'll have like one story that's like, it's a continuing story, but she fights all these different weird villains. One is like based on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Awesome. Another one is like a cowboy town that she drives through, and she has to fight all these like cowboy types. And it's just crazy. He took all these different things he loved, and he's like, how can I put this all into a book? And he's like, okay, I'll do a road trip where these people are after this girl, and she's driving along places and meets all these strange characters. There's a luchador cyborg. There's a
the trucker gang, and she's got this weird little car, and like she's got to fight a trucker gang.
Yeah, big giant truckers. Yeah, it's wild, but it's really fun.
That's awesome. I feel like there's so much like in the good independent stuff like right now. Mm-hmm. Like I mean there's always superhero stuff, but I just feel like people are so creative, and just seeing different types of things out there for everybody. It's just like, wow, I didn't even think about that, but it's really cool to see right now. I think, and I know they say that like comics will break your heart and all that stuff, but I mean, every time I look around, there's so much talent out there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Johnny.
A book that's out right now, man. I gotta say, Crush Depth by DB Andrew at Mad Cave, dude. I think issue 1 just came out for that. Issue 2's like that's as far as I've read, and it's so dope, man. It's like
Crush Depth.
Crush Depth, yeah. It's kind of like you ever see the movie Deep Star 6? It's basically like aliens underwater.
Oh, I'm aware of it. I don't think I've seen it though.
Ooh,
It's a bit like that, yeah. And DB's really good at like psychological horror, so yeah. Like
Awesome.
I wanted to touch on you said this campaign compared to a lot of the other ones
Yes.
on Kickstarter has been a lot different. You said it's
Yes.
a bit more of a little more challenging, and I think that's like a common theme with a lot of different people now that are launching Kickstarters. And like, do you have any tips for people or any suggestions on
Sure.
on like how, because I know a lot of people find it challenging, and we had a few people that you know, they didn't make it on their campaign, sadly, or they canceled it because it just wasn't going the way they wanted. So I don't know. This is what, your 5th or 6th book now?
I think this is number 6, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my advice is just have fun, do a campaign that you would want to see. You know, do as many media things as possible. I know for some creators, a lot of creators are introverted. It can be uncomfortable to talk to people, but I think the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and the more comfortable you'll get doing it. And for me, like, you know, hey, I'll do any show. I'll talk to anybody, because you never know who's watching. You never know, you know, even if somebody doesn't buy a comic at a con or something like that, it's like, okay, just take my Instagram. Maybe there's something you'll like down the line, and you know, just to create that connection. You know, just have fun, and just it is tough out there, because there's right now I picked the time where everybody launched their Kickstarter. I thought February would be like, oh, it's winter, it's not too bad. But I think there's new campaigns like every day. Like I remember I saw an article, there's like 300 active campaigns in comics
At the moment. Yeah.
At the moment, I'm like, wow, great.
Well, I think this might be the first month where people are like, you know, the holiday season is over. People are done paying off their holiday debts. So like March, this is it. People are getting like clearing their credit cards and have a little more income again to spend on fun stuff. So
yeah. Go ahead.
One of my favorite things about your campaigns is you do the 2-month.
Yeah,
run.
I need the time, because it just, there's, you know, people have lives and things like that, and people are doing stuff. So I know people who want to support will support whenever they can, whether it's in the beginning of the campaign or all the way at the end, it's fine. But for me, this is also a vacation. Like, this is a creative vacation where I can talk about something that I'm passionate about, which is writing comics. And I get to talk to people who like comics. I get to talk to other creators about how they make their comics. And I want to revel in that for as long as I can. And if it's the 60 days, then I'm going to take those 60 days to figure it out and make a plan. And also it's a good idea, because at least for me, because if something's not working, I got to figure out how to make it work so I can get this thing funded.
Right.
Because you have 30 days left on this campaign.
Yeah.
32.
So people have 32. Yeah. So people have a month to back it. And that gives you extra time to do, like you said, your conventions.
Yes.
Where you could actually physically put issue 1 in people's hands.
Yes. And be like, hey, if you like this, you know, I got more. But also I just think the world has changed too, where you know, the internet is not what it used to be. So I got to go out there and I got to talk to people. And if I'm at cons and people are there to buy comics anyway, or interested in comics, you know, I'll be able to hopefully pull some of those people in.
How many cons have you done so far?
Last year, which you're going to think this is crazy, I did 12.
12. What was your favorite?
They all, I really love the horror cons.
Okay.
I love the comic cons too, but the horror cons, I just feel like the enthusiasm is like off the charts. Like people who like comics, but these people want to talk to you about every horror thing that there is. And it's like, oh man, zombies, killer sloths, like that's crazy. Yeah. And I love the passion that they bring. I loved Nashville Comic Art Festival, which was really cool. I got to go to Nashville for the first time. I got to go to Slice in St. Louis, which was really cool. I've been doing stuff in the tri-state area because that's where I'm from. So I did Brooklyn Independent Comic Expo or Brooklyn Independent Comic Showcase. It's hard to find all these names. it's all
yeah.
But yeah, those have been really fun. The one I'm doing on Saturday in Connecticut was the first one I did last year. So they actually brought me back. Like I got to come back, and then they actually wrote a thing about how they were like proud of how far I've come, and they put me on the poster with people who have like drawn the Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, I'm just a guy. like this is crazy. I'm just a guy that there's other people that'll draw more people in. So for that to happen, it's an honor, and it's just taking things day by day and con by con. But I love doing them, and they're just so much fun.
Yeah. Plus, you have 2 titles that really cater to the horror genre.
Yes.
Like Slowpokes is such a fun title, and I mean, Zombie Date Night. It's such a great title. Like it's just yeah. I love that title for a comic. And
it works. It makes sense.
It works.
Tells you exactly what it is.
Tells you the whole. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's exactly what it is. Yeah. So that's a fantastic title for that book as well.
So it's funny because the sloths usually are number one when it comes to selling stuff. But the zombies, it'll be neck and neck. Like it'll be like, all right, it's either one or the other. And it's cool at the certain cons too, because I feel like people have different places have different sensibilities, different sense of humor and things like that. So it's cool to see like, oh, this one did well this time, or like, oh, the Santa one was a big hit this time. So it's just, it's very cool to find out and see what people like, or, and so far so good. People haven't wanted their money back. So,
and if people are wondering, don't be fooled. You were the first one to do Killer Sloths.
Yeah, it's crazy that happened. I have not talked about it publicly because I didn't know legally what the deal was, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I saw it. It is what it is. The only thing I liked about it was the name. Other than that,
yeah. But just so there's no confusion, you're the first. And
yes,
I
believe that somebody saw it and did. I don't think they read it. I think somebody saw it and did their own.
Yeah,
because it was done very quickly. And
because it came out 2 years after the comic.
Yep, 2 years after the comic, and then a lot of the art looks the same. They took the logo, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
But hey, people that know. People ask me about it all the time, and I'm just like, hey, it's flat. I'm flattered because it means that I made a difference.
What's the saying? Plagiarism is
the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, listen, if people that wrote that, if it's a coincidence, it is what it is. But I think both can exist, and hopefully you read mine because I think mine is a little bit crazier.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I just remember coming across that on Kickstarter, man, and like, it was just an automatic. Because your prices are always on point too, man. Like it was like what, $7, I think, the first Slowpoke.
Yeah, no, the first Slowpokes was I think it was 7. And that one. So again, talking about Kickstarters, it started out like that Kickstarter made like $10,000. Like at the final of it, like when it was over, people like reached out to me and was like, "Hey, can I get this issue?" Or "Hey, can I I saw this on Kickstarter," and then that was able to fund Zombie Date Night. And then like what I've been doing is taking whatever I make and put it into the next project. So the sloths always are good for me, and they've been so helpful in my career, and I get sloth gifts now all the time. So I got a sloth claw at the last convention I went to. Somebody next to me, they do 3D printing of like animal stuff. So they had a sloth claw from like prehistoric times. So they gave me that. I've gotten sloth socks, sloth toys, anything sloth related is now part of my existence, which is great.
Yeah, those were the glory days of Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, it's completely different, and I think a lot of people left because they went to the blockchain.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know now. I mean, maybe they came back, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But I also know that there's different. There's different crowdfunding sites now. There's We Are Zoop, right, and Backer Kit and all the other ones. Mm-hmm. But it's confusing because it's like when there's so many different ones. It's like, all right, where do I go? Where do I, where do I put my money towards? I got to sign up for stuff, so it's a weird time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Kickstarter went blockchain. Maybe that explains why like there's so many meme and Gooner books that are like high sell.
It's all. Listen, to each their own. But it's very funny to see like it's like like Caped Sluts 3. It's like geez, and then it's like it's like $700,000.
Dude, I saw one that really fucking shocked me. It's called Rough Stuff, and it had like a black guy with a white girl with a rope around her neck, and he's like beating her. And like I was just like,
I mean, to each their own. There's something for everybody, I guess. But
I was shocked to see
not my
that,
style,
dude.
but
that got approved and made it onto.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I always like to say since Foulmouth that my projects are now projects they don't love.
Are you serious?
No, I did. Well, so I got Project We Love 3 times in a row, and then once they did Foulmouth, I feel like they just were like, get this guy out of here. Yeah. This guy doesn't represent us. But with all those smut books, it's like, well, how are these projects they loved if it's just if there's no story and it's
because of how much money it makes, man.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Sorry, my zombies don't take off their clothes in Zombie Date Night 2.
Yeah, that would be interesting though.
It would be. It'd be a lot of entrails and intestines.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to do that. I thought about that during the first Slowpokes to start an OnlyFans with the sloth or something like that. But maybe for Zombie Date Night that might work.
Yeah. I was going through because you have some of your books on Global Comics because you made a deal with them. Was that maybe 6 months ago? A little less than that?
Yeah, about a year ago, I decided I was like, you know what, I need to reach more people. I need to figure out what the best place for my comics are. And I joined Global Comics, and they've been pretty cool. I've been able to gain new followers on that, and they've been very. I got interviewed for that, and like the first Zombie Date, and I got like 5,000 reads on there.
Wow.
So I was like, you know what? I'll just put my books up there for free digitally. If people want them, the physical copies, then I'll just reach out to me. I'll send them to you. But like at the end of the day, like I just want people to see my stuff and listen, money's great. But it's funny because they'll send like, oh, you made 14 cents. And I'm like, just make it free. I don't care. I don't care. Just keep it.
Yeah. But, I noticed you had a short story on there for 2 characters from your Foulmouth.
Yes. So I did. So in the first Slowpokes, if you got the physical copy, at the end of it, that is actually the first comic that I ever wrote. I did a 5-pager for Comics Experience, and that first comic I ever wrote, it's called Positive Negative, and it's about a villain who finally kills the hero and misses him. So it's Dr. Negative and his pug Neutral. So I was like, you know what, that'd be a fun thing to add to the Foulmouth story, just to have them in there, because I feel like that'd just be a fun throwback, and it made sense for the story. And so that was the first 5-page I did, and that's on Global Comics as well. I put everything up there because again, you never know who's reading your stuff, and somebody might reach out, it might change your whole life.
Yeah, we found some great stuff on there. We've actually found some pretty good interviews and some up and comers, man. Like
there's a lot of talent out there.
Yeah, Wesley Griffith. Yeah, man. Like that's how we found Pierre
Dola.
Dola. Yeah, we've had a couple really cool Global Comics. Me and Joe are pretty big fan of that format, man. We think that if you're going to be reading online, like they have a great reader. Like they're so much more convenient than any other place that I've tried. So yeah.
I mean, it's also too because Kindle got rid of all the comics. Remember Comixology? Like that's not a thing anymore. It just, I feel like comics are in a weird space right now, but there's so much talent out there. I feel like something has got to happen. Like, I feel like there's got to be, whether it's a publisher, whether it's a like, hey, go to this app and you'll find it, or go to this thing. But I think it's coming. I'm just not sure how that is. And also with all those, like the Marvel movies are tanking, and it's like, what the hell's going on there?
Yeah.
And then you're just hearing about, like, I saw the thing about the artists who are not getting paid correctly at these giant publishers. I think people are going to start fighting back and just making their own stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's been a lot of changes too for like printing the cost of printing keeps going up. I think there is the big shakeup with Diamond too. That kind of
yeah, that's crazy to me that they went bankrupt. It's like you would think that you only do one thing. Like, and like how do you mess that up?
Yeah. Well, they had different branches of the company, and that's why they filed Chapter 11 to really downsize everything and really focus on comics. So yeah. But I mean, because then Lunar came in, and now it's kind of, is it going to stay multiple distribution like ways, or is one of them going to win it, beat out the other, and it'll go back to just having one?
The problem is like Diamond also like cornered the market in a way that like they almost like Nintendo, where they like threatened labels like if they don't go with them type of thing. So for them to like be like, oh man, we can't put your books out anymore. It's like, why did you choke everybody else out then? Like
I mean, I think at this point, like, listen, I'm always listening to anybody who wants to take a look at my stuff. Great. But like, I think there's a lot of less of a hassle just to be independent, because it's contracts. And like, if people get excited about their books being at any publisher and then they sign away their rights, and it's like, no. Like, you can't do that. Like, there's so many predatory things out there, and it's like, I think I'm better off just doing this on my own and figuring it out. And I'll if there's a printer I work with that's in America that's easy, like, I'm just gonna just do that and just go to cons and word of mouth type of thing until who knows.
Yeah, we've known a few people that have gone through the publishing route, and it was it was a learning experience, but a frustrating one for the most part.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think success, and some creators, they have this idea of like, oh, I want basically like world domination, like Robert Kirkman, right? Like, I want TV shows, I want books, I want toys, I want all that stuff. And that's great. But like, at the end of the day, if somebody owns your stuff that's not you, then you're not in control of it. Like, you're not in control of where things go. And you can get taken advantage of. And I just am not, I'm too old for that. If I'd started doing this at like 2019, I'd probably be like, oh, whatever, sure. But now I'm just like, no. I'm not dealing with that. I own all my stuff. I'm filing LLCs and all that stuff. So just figuring it all out as it goes on. And it's super easy. For anybody, creators listening, form an LLC, get all your stuff and put it right underneath there. It's very easy, and yes, it costs a little bit, but it goes a long way in the long run.
Cool.
So we got Zombie Date Night too. We got the links in the chat and in the description. Like we said, you still got a month, so there's no rush, but like
no rush, but a rush at the same time.
But please be mindful of the time. Let me just say that. Put it this way: if you can, back it now.
Yeah. If not,
if you're waiting for like your next paycheck to come in because you only get paid every 2 weeks, well, you still have 32 days. Yeah, you still have some time. So,
but even if you can't, just even if you share it, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm cool with that. As long as I'm very thankful for all the backers. I'm very thankful for people reaching out. Thankful for everybody reading everything. Like, you guys have read all of my stuff, which I appreciate that. It's been very fun, and I look forward to what other comic craziness we can do. What other comic things can we discuss today? What else is going on?
Well, what about, okay, so you have Slowpokes, which you've done 2 issues. Zombie Date Night, this is issue 2.
Yep.
You've done Foul Mouth.
Yep.
Which the way it ends, it seems like you have more ideas coming with that, because the way it ends, spoilers, you get Dr. Negative and his pug make an appearance right at the end, right? So so that's setting up that story moving forward.
Yep. So
is that in the works? Like, do you have a schedule plan for your next release after this one? Or
so here's the thing, like I said, I'm just going by the seat of my pants. There will definitely be more Foul Mouth down the line, of course, but I have 2 other projects that I've finished. And I'm getting into the process of that. Once this Kickstarter is done, I'm going to send out for the art for the other one. Like I said, it's more of just like, hey, if I do the Kickstarter, make some of the money back, I'm able to put it into the next project. So I have I won't spoil too much of it. I have a brand new thing that I'm working on. I'll tell you guys offline, and then going back to the well for another Slowpokes.
Slowpokes 3.
Yeah, it's Slowpokes 3. And then after that, I have another newer thing. I think I'm doing something familiar, something new, something familiar, something new. Just because it's been going. I'm just going off the seat of my pants. I'm just seeing where things go. But yeah, I definitely want to do more foul mouth down the line. But I also want to grow as a writer and try new things and see what I can do. Because listen, I love being the sloth guy, but I also love being the zombie guy. I love being the person guy. So just wherever it takes me, or wherever I'm like, you know what, that'll be a lot of fun to do. I'll just go into it like that.
Well, you kind of already have spaced yourself out pretty good. I mean, you do have the 2 horror books, which I mean, you're kind of most known for, but you have Ex Machina, or
yes,
the Christmas book. I mean, that's got a little gore to it, but like it's
cutesy,
so fun. And you do in fantasy, and then you have Foul Mouth, which is your superhero. So like I think that you're already kind of working well to space yourself out. So yeah, if you got something else that's going to be another new genre for you, like I'm down for that, man, because you don't want to be the horror guy. Like our buddy John Lees, he's like he's stuck and he's a little miserable about it. Like he enjoys where he's at, but at the same time he doesn't want to be the horror guy. You know what I mean? And
I think at least with this I'm saying I'm on my own comic journey, because it's literally like, this is the only place where I get to create, and there's no rules. There's no like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do this. This is, I can create freely and just go. Like it's the most Zen thing in my life. Everything else is structured and like, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that. But this is like, hey, I'm just gonna whatever feeling I get that like, hey, I got to do this, I'm just going to jump in the water and see where it goes. And listen, things might go well, things might not go well, but like, I'm not afraid. I'm okay. Like I'm lucky that people want to check it out. If one person buys my comic, I'm happy. So, and that could be my mom, you know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with that. But I'm just been very lucky but I'm just trying to figure out this Kickstarter, whether it goes well or it doesn't. I need to start looking at like, all right, is there other viable things to do? Is it cons? Is it, is there another platform? But I like packing and shipping the comics and creating the merch for it. So I think there'll always be an element of that to these comics.
Well, I mean, always say that your books are the stuff that people should be backing on Kickstarter. It's indie comics fun, you know what I mean? And like, it's always a good time. Like you don't try to take it too seriously. Like all your books are pretty comedies, so like it's great, man. And
thank you, I appreciate that. I mean, I just want to have fun. Like it's just, I feel like there is comedy in comics, of course, but I just feel like in comedy horror, there's not much of that. Like, and there's some, but it's not like ongoing. Like there's a lot of like spooky horror. I'm really loving Ice Cream Man. I think Ice Cream Man is incredible. I think James Tynion is one of my favorite writers. Like he's awesome. But I just want to see more horror stuff out there.
Yeah. Can you give us can you tell us what genre your new thing that you're working on that's going to come out next? What genre it is?
Still horror comedy. Yep, okay. Still horror comedy. But I think. And then the third one that I'm doing, which might take a while to do, I want to do a kaiju thing. I have an idea for a kaiju thing that I think I'm debating whether or not to make it a kid's book, because there doesn't need to be any curse. You know what I mean? The story is enough. Like the story doesn't need to have anything like it can have cartoon violence rather than people getting entrails and things.
For that one, are you toying with the idea of doing like a manga format?
Yes, I've been thinking about that, because I'm like, you know what? Life is short. Might as well try new things. And again, same thing with cons. It's like, all right, I could do horror cons. I could do independent comic cons. I could do romance cons if I want to, or something like that. And I saw that there's a thing called Kaiju Brooklyn, and I was like, that sounds like kind of fun. I was like, maybe I'll do a kaiju story.
Yeah. Because you have quite a bit of stuff now, like to table. right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been lucky, and luckily the merch helps as well. Like the
that's
t-shirts,
true. Yeah.
the t-shirts bring people in.
Mhm.
Even if people don't buy the comics, like they'll buy a shirt or something like
Yeah.
that, and like somebody's dad will be like, "Oh, I have a sloth thing, a sloth shirt." I've been meeting people with sloth tattoos, which have been pretty
Okay.
cool. On a few occasions, like somebody would have a whole sloth here, or somebody had a whole sloth on their hand. So yeah, I've been very lucky that the artists I work with are incredible, and they at least help bring people in. And then if they can read the writing and they like it, and it goes with the style, then it's like, all right, I did my job. Then I'm good.
For Slowpokes 3, are you maintaining the same with the same artists and everything?
Yes,
Or
yes.
okay.
I'm hoping it should be that. We'll see what his schedule is like, but yeah. Once Zombie Date Night 2 is done, and then I have this other project, then we're off to the races, because I know people keep asking me about that, which is cool. But I also don't want to overdo it, especially after that movie that came out. Like I want to, if I'm going to do it, then I want to make sure it's the right time for it. But yeah, just little by little trying to get things done. The hard part is I wish the art could take a little bit quicker, but it's just, that's just how it is. There's nothing I could do it. And it's so good that, I'm willing to work the wait, but I would love to, get stuff out, more often. It's just, I'm just trying to figure it all out.
Any plans to do a Slowpokes in Space issue? Like kind of just
I
spoofing on that whole.
I think you're gonna get that sooner than later.
That's awesome. Slowpokes versus Zombie Date Night could be pretty cool too.
Yeah, I think at some point all these things have to come together. I just don't know. I just don't know what and who would be the artist, because I used all different artists for this.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, just trying to build things from the ground up and see where things go. But I love Zombie Date Night 2 is a good, it's a great next step for the series. And I love that I'm able to go back to those characters, and to look to have a different perspective. Because when I first started writing it, it was like in the beginning of a relationship, and now I'm getting married. So it's like it's coming full circle, and just to kind of look back and be like, oh, like I'm a little bit more mature, but I can still be goofy at the same time.
Yeah. Congrats on the engagement.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. We went to Hawaii in December, and I asked her there. So it was very nice.
There you go. It's Hawaii. Nice.
Yes.
That's a nice trip. Yeah.
Before it burnt down. Nice.
Yes, before it burnt down. And
was it before?
Oh no. Well, no, it burnt down last year.
Last year. So you went a year after it happened.
I went a year after. Yes.
Okay.
But it was very nice. The only thing I didn't like about Hawaii was all the loudmouth tourists of like, these people are super nice and very cool, but like all the tourists there are just like demanding and mean. And it's like, why? Just people open their homes to you. Like just be cool,
Yeah. Yeah, you know how it is. Got some loudmouths everywhere, right? So.
I know.
Well, do a Slowpokes in Hawaii, where the Slowpoke.
Oh, that'd be great.
The sloths kill all the fucking loudmouths everywhere.
Yeah, they kill that, and that actually is a good idea. They could do like was like the Brady Bunch goes Hawaiian, like Slowpokes goes Hawaiian.
What do they call they call them howlies? There's what they call the tourists there, right?
Yes. Yeah, I believe so.
And having the Slowpokes kill all the howlies, man. And they're cheekies.
That is actually a pretty good idea. I might think about that. Hawaii.
If ever you want to do like just a short or something, like like a backup story, or
because they could have the Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah,
and
they can be wearing
yeah.
With the coconut drinks or whatever.
Well, coconut, it would be coconut with somebody's head, right?
With the umbrella, the little umbrella and the drink.
Yeah, they could surf. I think there's a lot of fun to be had. I think that might be a good idea for the future. Slowpokes goes Hawaiian.
Yeah. Or you could do it like if you plan on taking a longer hiatus on Slowpokes in issue 3, you could do like a little mini 5-page story.
Yeah,
like the Slowpokes are on vacation in Hawaii. You could do a little 5-page story where
go anywhere.
So it might, and that's it. They'll be back, but maybe not for
right now. Right now, they're in Hawaii.
Yeah. For now, they're on vacation in Hawaii.
Have them
awesome.
making their way to Australia so they could fight drop bears, man.
Oh yeah, that's true. The drop bears are crazy. They are, yeah.
Slow pokes versus drop bears. That could be
Also, I mean, Australia, everything could kill you. Like all all those giant bugs and whatnot. I'm pretty sure we're gonna find a Godzilla creature at some point.
Wow.
out there in the bush. Yeah.
I mean, the way the world's going. I mean,
Well, the thing is, during the pandemic, I thought we'd get alien because there was a lot of like, oh, alien talk, and then that kind of just went away. But like I'm feeling like when is that going to come around?
well, didn't they release some stuff like last year?
They released a lot of the declassified stuff of like, you know, all these UFO sightings, and I mean, UFOs aren't necessarily always aliens or anything. It could be whatever aircraft. But the fact that like it's like, hey, I remember like I thought because people had the time on their hands during the pandemic that we'd get more of a like, what is this? Like, why is this happening? Or like, why are these things around?
Well, there has been weird stuff like all the drones over.
Over New Jersey.
Over New Jersey,
my hometown of New Jersey. There's drones flying all over there, and that to me is crazy too because I'm like, there's nothing over there.
Look at that! It's a fucking drone. It is a fucking drone. What's that fucking drone doing up there?
I was waiting for somebody to go like catch one because like that's how New Jersey is. Like I just feel like they would go to hunt these drones, shoot it down, and like hunt it. But we didn't get any of that.
No. Yeah.
Some juice head Guido with the watch.
Yeah, wait, hey, get over here.
Cut myself a drone. Look at this. No, that's
another franchise of Aliens versus New Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah, have them all talking like that and stuff. Yeah.
They abduct them and then put them back.
Yeah.
No more tests.
Yeah. That made me think. I just watched Honora not too long ago. Actually, I was like, it's not so good. Then all of a sudden, all the Russian guys show up.
Yeah.
And then the movie just takes a turn, and it's fantastic from that point on. It's a little long. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. Like the movie shouldn't have been more than 2 hours long at all. But yeah, just that group of like, once the mafia's guys show up to try to take care of the problem, so good from that point on. So if ever you like watch it on streaming or something, keep with it. Don't turn it off if you find it boring because it's worth it once those three guys show up. But
I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. It'll be on streaming soon. I feel like I think it's gonna be on Peacock or something in a few because they just put Wicked on there, so I'm just like, I can wait another month or two.
Yeah.
Did you see the new Captain America? Because I want to take a look at it, but I'm like, I can wait for that to be on Disney Plus.
Disney.
I watched it. It's it's okay, man. Like they really tried to make it like Winter Soldier, and the thing is like the movie concludes, and then like there's this whole thing where he fights the Red Hulk, and you're just kind of like, it's fucking disjointed, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense because they cut a lot of stuff out of it. So maybe they had it made before, or maybe they had it edited, and they're like, "Oh, we got to fix this."
I heard it was more of a sequel to the Hulk movie than it is a Captain America movie.
Dude, because basically, Delmar from Oh Brother Where Art Thou? He's the master or whatever his name is with the big head. But instead of like having the big head, he just kind of has broccoli head.
That's a good name for a movie too, broccoli head. Yeah.
But when you see him, you'll see what I mean. He looks just kind of like it fades from broccoli to cauliflower in the middle, but like it's got that same consistency. You know what I mean?
I'm very curious about the Thunderbolts movie too, because like I feel like that, like I was excited for that, but I'm like, they know who they are. There's no like twist of, because like in the beginning of in the original Thunderbolts, it's like, all right, they're heroes and they become villains. Then it's the villains as the heroes, right?
Yeah, basically Baron Zemo and a bunch of Z-rate villains all kind of become heroes, and they try to they're gonna intercept from the inside and try to make friends with the Avengers. But like all the other heroes, all the other Thunderbolts kind of like turn on Zemo when it becomes time. It's kind of the original Kurt Busiek of Thunderbolts storyline.
It looks like it might be good.
Yeah, I think they have good actors in it. Like I love Florence Pugh, right? That's her name. Yeah, she's awesome. She could do anything. and like I think the cast is good. It's just I'm like, well, how are you gonna do this? But I'm guessing, with what is it, Infinity War or whatever coming, or the Doom, whatever they're calling the next one, the Doomsday.
Oh, with Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
It's gonna be Secret War, right?
Secret War. That's it. But like they need people, they need bodies to kill. So there's all these different heroes now, and other universes too, because there's like 20 Spider-Mans and
if you look at the title of the movie, it's Thunderbolts with an asterisk. So I think this movie is going to be kind of a setup for Dark Avengers, man.
Oh, gotcha.
And I think that, like, yeah, they're just gonna. Florence Pugh is gonna be basically like who Norman Osborn was when the Thunderbolts actually did become the Dark Avengers in the comics. So that's kind of like my feeling, especially with how they titled it like that with the asterisks next to it.
Gotcha.
And what you have Daredevil that just started back
Daredevil
up?
just dropped. I'm psyched for that. I'm gonna check that out as soon as I can. And then DC stuff. We're getting Superman.
When's that? Is that summer release?
Yeah,
okay,
July,
summer release.
Of course, man. They're gonna need that movie's gonna need to make $2 million. Otherwise, fucking Zaslav's gonna cut fucking DC movies for good. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
How did the Captain America movie do? Did it
bombed?
It bombed. I
thought it did okay. Maybe it did okay for like the whatever the weekend it was, but I feel like movies these days are just like. It's not, people aren't going to the theater as much anymore.
Yeah, what they should do is they should go back to the way it was in the 80s and they rated how much people watched it at home.
Yeah. Or don't put it on streaming literally like 2 months later, like or
2 weeks. Like Captain America 4 has barely been out and like it's already on VOD.
What was the there's a few that made it like less than a month, like you said, 2 weeks. It depends how it does at the box office, right? If it really bombs, then they're like, let's slap it on streaming and try to, salvage something out of this. Like, what was it? Well,
it's not streaming. They want you to pay for it. It's $20,
but video on demand where it's like, all right, but in a few weeks it'll be on.
Yeah, it'll be on something.
Like, what was it? The one with Ryan Gosling.
The Gray Man?
No, the Fall Guy. No, what was that?
Oh yeah, the Fall Guy. Yeah, that ended up on Peacock.
That 2 weeks after it was like boom, you can rent it, right? 2 weeks after it was in theaters.
Was a good movie too. I would have probably actually, if I wanted to go to a theater, I could have saw that. That'd have been an enjoyable movie in the theater, I think.
But also when you're overpricing everything, nobody wants to go to the movies unless it's something really good. And I feel like people aren't taking chances on movies because they'll just see it later. I mean? So there's no urgency for some of these movies.
Well, the thing is like a lot of the theatrical action films look about on par as the shit that the Netflix is putting out. I want to see the movie The Cleaner with Daisy Ridley, but it literally looks like it should be on Netflix, not a theater movie. You know what I mean? And like a couple of the action movies I've seen are that are coming out are kind of like that. And I'm just like, wow. Like,
but I think that's kind of everywhere. Like even with sports franchises now, the tickets are so expensive. You buy a hot dog or a beer, it's so expensive. It's like all these people have pushed it to the limit where they've priced people. They're starting to price people out now where it's going to come back and bite them in the ass because they won't be able to sell tickets anymore, and the concessions won't be selling. And I mean, I think people got a little too greedy, right? And
they're going to bring it back. Dollar Dodgers got there, whatever it was. And everybody got mad because they took it away. It was $1 hot dog day, or whatever that stadium was. But I guess they were throwing them at the fucking players more than you.
Well, I also love it. I love a good baseball game. I go to the Yankee games all the time.
Yeah, I saw you.
Went to the World Series last year, which was a lot of fun. But I mean, we lost big time. We sucked major ass. But yeah, just I miss also like minor league baseball teams because I feel like those are more interactive. Like the Savannah Bananas, which I don't know if you've seen that up there. So it's a minor league baseball team, but they do like Harlem Globetrotter stuff. So like, they'll have like somebody like on stilts throw a pitch, or like they'll do something on fire, or people doing backflips. But it's gotten so much buzz that these things are sold out, and because they'll go to, and they started going to major stadiums because they figured it out. But you got to do it like that, where you create this fan base and try not to price people out and just have a good time.
Yeah. Because I think baseball, of all the major sports in America, baseball's the one that's having the hardest time trying to figure it out, right?
They have too many games. Like 162 games is a lot. And it's fun, but like when baseball is boring, baseball is very boring. Like,
yeah,
so I understand. I mean, the pitch clock helps because it makes the games go by a little bit quicker. But yeah, it's just it's too many. It's too much.
Even when I was a kid, I couldn't watch it, man. Like, it's fun to play. I loved playing baseball when I was little, but like I couldn't watch it, man. Like, but I have that problem with a lot of sports, man. Like,
yeah, like I'm glad that like WNBA is starting to get bigger now. They're fine. They're starting to market it better because listen, the athletes were always there. It's just like have people that are they're good on the stick. You know what I mean? They're able to draw people in. With both their talent and personality, which is good.
Yeah, to market the game, to draw some attention to it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm waiting for waiting for the next big sport. Maybe highlight will come back or something.
We'll see. I mean, because I think
I think it's Car Kwando or something like that. It's like
where they start
Jiu-Jitsu.
They start seat belted and then they
they
like wrestle around on the seats. That is so hilarious, man. And they got the refs walking around like, oh, dude. Like, I saw a couple of those fights. That is
those are that might be maybe that'll be the next thing or power slap or something like that.
Oh, power slap, yeah. Fuck, that's stupid.
Didn't they try that? I think Vanna White, the UFC guy, he'd like try to have his own league for that, right?
Yeah, it's going on now. Yeah. Then they had, what was it? Pickleball was
pickleball is big over here. Yeah. I think pickleball is like, to me, like old white people sport. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's it's everywhere. And
is it?
Yeah,
well, I've heard about it. I've heard about it. I don't even. I know it has like a little mini trampoline, right?
Pickleball.
What's pickleball exactly?
No, pickleball is like tennis, but you have like these more like ping pong rackets, and man, it's basically like badminton or tennis.
I think like racquetball, right? A little bit.
Okay.
But I think you can let the ball bounce more times. I think it bounced twice.
So what's the little fucking thing with the little mini trampoline and you hit stuff? Anyway, I don't know. All these things pop up on Instagram. I'm like,
I remember that was a show on Spike TV where they had
slam ball. That was
slam ball. Is that what it was? Okay.
Basketball with trampolines. Yeah, that.
Okay.
I think they did try to make it come back, but I don't know if it was successful.
Yeah, Spike TV. Wow.
Yeah, that was a time. Spike TV. A lot of.
Jeez.
None of that.
Is it around anymore?
No,
it's Paramount.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Paramount owns all that now. Yeah,
but I mean, they had a lot. They just said, "Fuck it, let's just do whatever we want." Like 1,001 Ways to Die. I was like, okay, they had like that. It was like Man versus Wild, I think, was on there. Maybe, they did a lot of Slam Ball was on there. Remember that? Because that used to be the national network. They used to be like the Hick channel.
Yeah, it used to be TNN, and then it became the Horny network.
But they have all those. What is it called? Storage unit shows.
Storage Wars and things.
Wars, Bar Rescue. Shut it down.
Yeah. Oh, I love. I know it's not Spike TV, but I love like all the Gordon Ramsay shows because it's just they're just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So there's a show he had. It was like Hotel Hell, and in every version of these episodes, he would for some reason show his ass, and I don't know why. I don't know if they were like we'll put this on, but you need to show his ass. Every time he's at Hotel Hell, it'll be like, oh, I got to take a shower. It's like, are you a chef? Like, why are you doing this right now?
Have you heard him in interviews though? It's pretty wild. I don't know what show it was on. He was on some show with some of his buddies, and the pranks they pull on each other, I mean, were extreme. Like resting his balls on one of his friends' heads while they're sleeping or something like that. Like, I was like, oh my God. And he was talking about it on this like afternoon interview show.
Man. That's the Iranian goggles.
Yeah. So.
or did he do it in his English accent? It's like, oh, I bollocks.
Yeah. So anyway, I heard I was like, that's just but that's him. I mean,
whatever. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I saw somebody reviewing one of the episodes of Motel Hell on YouTube, and like he was like throwing microwaves out of windows. Like, I think he was in France or something. Like
living the gimmick.
Yeah, it looked like they were letting him go like full, like Nicolas Cage out on it. You know what I mean? Like just going.
Oh, speaking of Nicolas Cage, you want to talk about how did we get here? Did you guys see Longlegs?
Yeah.
I didn't like Longlegs because I'm like, if this guy who looks like powder is at the convenience store and he's being weird and somebody gets killed in the town and they're like, you know what, maybe we should interview this guy.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I know a lot of people liked it. But Nicolas Cage, like I love that how versatile he is. Like sometimes he still will make something good every now and then, which is crazy.
Do you think he was imitating Johnny Depp? Because like that's maybe. My theory. Like when I watch that movie, I just see him like acting like Johnny Depp. Like
maybe I just was like the fact that this person exists and nobody has him on a watch list. You know what I mean? That's a little bit suspect to me.
Yeah, me and Joe are kind of like on the same page as you. Like I like the atmosphere. I thought it was
atmosphere was good.
It's a very
I like that.
Yeah, but like when it got to about dolls with fucking like humming
or the voodoo or whatever, I'm like, what? What's happening here?
With a ball in their head, I'm just like, this could have been a really creepy like thriller movie, and like now it's fucking some Blumhouse. Like
yeah, I feel like movies these days, and maybe because I'm just getting old, I feel like they don't stick the landing anymore. Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of movies are like, oh, that's a great premise, but they don't know how to end it.
Well, I mean, Longlegs, the ending wasn't bad. Like the idea of a doll with the head, but that scene where they're in the house with the couple and like that was great. Like that little 15-minute part in the end where they're sitting on the couch and with the little girl, that was all fantastic. But like the parts leading up to it where like there's a doll and open the floor like Johnny says, and there's that ball or marble thing. And I was like, and like it was all right. Like you said, the atmosphere going through, it's okay, but I mean, that whole movie was about that 15 minutes at the end. Right?
Yes.
And that was pretty much it. So, yeah. So, but yeah, like a lot of them, I don't know. I think a lot of movies, they don't have editors anymore. It's like always like the director's cut and sometimes it's like, maybe you should have left some stuff out, so
my thing is, I love Tubi right now. Tubi's my go-to because it's free and there's I feel like that's movie purgatory. Like people go to Tubi when like the rights run out on Netflix. It's like, all right, it's got to go on Tubi for like 6 months until it goes on to Peacock or like whatever it is. But there's always like really like all the full moon stuff is on there for like the horror movies. A lot of cult films, a lot of stuff from like the 70s are in there. So like there's good gems in there.
What was that Ryan Gosling movie? What was it called?
The Fall Guy?
No, the one with the sex doll. He orders it.
Oh, Lars and the Real Girl.
Yes, I'd never seen that, and it was on Tubi, and I was like, "Oh, watch it." And I was like,
good.
"Damn, that's a pretty good movie." Yeah, I was really surprised. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
There's a movie on there called Lola that's really good. I watched it on the plane to Hawaii, and it's about. I thought it was one of the most creative things I've seen in a long time. It's about it's during World War II, and these women in England invent a time machine, but it's not a time machine where you could travel anywhere. It's a time machine kind of like a radio where they can see what's happening in the future, but they can't really do anything about it because it's in the future. So at first they start listening to it and they're like, okay, maybe we could help with the war efforts if we like turn the frequency, and then they start changing the war and then they start changing history. And it's in black and white, and it's really well done, and it was made pretty recently.
Okay.
Tubi is Lola, Lola.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they named the time machine.
What was on there? What was it I watched the other day, Johnny? The Red Line.
Yeah, Red Line.
They got on there now.
Anime movies on there. They got like a Madhouse shit on there, which is good.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I was like, oh, cool, Red Line. I'll watch that.
Yeah, I watched Maniac Cop 1 and 2.
Okay. Yeah.
And I love full moon horror because I love that. Like I read his book, Charles Band, and I love that they're like, all right, we're good at making a really cool puppet. We don't, but that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're like, we'll have them like they can't really move or anything. They're just like they have the two things that they do. So like Puppet Master, like Baby Oopsie, like all those things are ridiculous.
Some of their stuff's okay though. I really like Dollman, and I like the Trancers movies. Like the stuff with Tim Thomerson, like I think is like kind of Full Moon's best.
Yeah, I like no, that's Trauma. Or sorry, I was gonna say Frankenhooker, but that's Trauma. But we need more of that. That's kind of what, like, in terms of my comics, I'm like, I want to do like a Trauma type of thing where like here are horror comedies in the most ridiculous way, but they're good, they're decent. You know what I mean? Like that's the goal.
Well, that's not like Trauma. Like Trauma's not like they're entertaining, but like good. I don't know, man. Like they're really. They shock me, man. Like when I watch Terra Firma, like that movie still fucking affects me, even with the cheesy ass effects and the bad acting and stuff. Like that's just so disgusting on purpose. You know what I mean? Like you can't help it. Like Romeo and Juliet's the same way. You know. Thank you, James Gunn. Like,
so funny enough, in an alternate universe. So I applied for an internship at Trauma, and I got in. But I couldn't do it because there was like I lived in New Jersey and it was in Long Island, and there's no way I would be able to drive 2 hours for no money. You know what I mean? Like I was like I can't. I want to so bad, but I got in, but it just my whole life might have been different. Maybe these would have been Trauma movies instead of comics.
Yeah. Well, you know, like you said, sometimes.
Yeah.
I miss Trauma. Have they done anything since the Nukem High revival?
They do stuff every now and then because I see it on their Instagram, and I know that it's like Kaufman, right? Lloyd Kaufman. He goes to cons all the time, and they're always casting for stuff because I'm guessing they just make things that they want to make. But I haven't heard anything about like, oh, we got to see this, or like Toxic Avenger at one point was like a big thing. Like I haven't heard anything. Well, actually, that's not true. The new Toxic Avenger, the remake, is coming out and it has like Peter Dinklage in it, and
they can't find a distributor. Like nobody will put it out for them.
But I wonder why, because it has a name cast and like that movie people know.
And it was made for theaters too. Like they toned it down. I think it's a PG-13 movie. Like
yeah,
it's not
I'm wondering why that's having issues.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's head's going to get ran over, or nobody's going to point a shotgun at a baby in this version. You know?
Yeah, because they have the comic out too by Ahoy right now. I don't know if it's still running, but I think it is the Toxic Avenger comic.
Yeah, I think it's an ongoing from them.
So
with that weird ass art, man, kind of like kind of reminds me of Eric Powell. But
it's the artist. He's the one who did Snelson.
I don't know what that is.
It's the one with the comedian about the comedian.
Oh, okay, yeah, you posted a picture of that like a couple months ago.
I read it over the holidays.
So if you could, taking classic old, franchises, whether it's Trauma, whether that. If you could take something from the 80s and put it into a comic form, what do you think would work now better?
Well, since you said Trauma, man, I would like to do Sergeant Kabuki Man, but like all Frank Miller, Sin City style, black and white.
That'd be
awesome. Fred Harper's the artist on the Toxic Avenger comic. It's the same artist as on Snelson from Ahoy, so I guess he has a good standings over there at Ahoy.
Yeah, Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD. He only got the one movie, and then like he got some co-stars and like Toxie 4 and shit like that.
I don't know.
I'm a Trauma fan. Like I've seen like most of their stuff, but like it's kind of hard to keep up with them. I guess I don't really try, but like I should.
It's different now too. Like back then when Trauma movies would come out, it'd be kind of like a word of mouth type of thing, or like what is this?
They'd mail me stuff. I was like on a list. I paid them like $10 or whatever, and like they'd actually like let me know and send me like mini posters. So
that's awesome.
Coming out. Yeah, they were cool back in the 90s, early 2000s, like early internet, America Online time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And then the last things I really remember getting is the Nukem High revival movies, the Return to Nukem High, which were great. I'd like to do a comic on that too. I love the first Class of Nukem High movie. It's just so stupid, but like the weed that turns the kids into mutants and shit, like it's great, man.
I mean, I want more of those ideas. Like, I feel like in the 80s, they just didn't, they were like, yeah, do it. Fuck it. Like, and I feel like it's less of that, like less, it's more about being safe. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we could do an action movie with Liam Neeson where he's looking for somebody, right? Like something like that.
Yeah, but it's so much easier to make movies now.
That's
so
true.
I don't know why more people aren't taking the chances like that.
It's harder to get people to see him. See, back in the day when Lloyd Kaufman would legitimately shoot like Toxic Avenger, he knew people that ran theaters in little grindhouse and jerk off theaters in New York and New Jersey that would run it no matter what. So he'd get that theatrical run, even though it wasn't nationwide, and then like it would be a big seller on video, and like that, none of that's attainable anymore. Like he's got I know that they have a website, and like it's a pay thing. I think it's only like I think it's like $4 a month. I should actually check it out. But like,
yeah, I think Full Moon does the same thing too. Where it's like, hey, you get access to all our library, but like you'll get new stuff too. Cool. But yeah, I want some crazy. I want some more crazy shit. I want more word of mouth. Like, holy shit, we got to go see that. Like, I want more midnight movies.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not a huge fan of the Terrifier movies, but I like them because they've kind of brought that back. Like, people are actually freaked out by horror movies again. I just kind of wish that. I mean, I try to enjoy them, but like, I think that they just go on a little too long. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of just get bored with the gore at some point. You know?
Yeah,
like, I think that like if they're gonna keep doing that, they should cheese it. You know what I mean? Like a little bit. I don't know.
Well, at least with I say that everybody in that universe is made out of like paper mache because
that girl
and stuff.
Especially when he saws the girl in half in the first one, he only like goes like 6 times. I'm like, there's no way you're gonna saw like you can't even do a board that fast. Come on, fool. But yeah.
But it is nice to see that there's like a new franchise because I feel like it's been a while. I think the Saw ones were like the last, like every year there'd be a new horror movie, but like now there's like a Terrifier. So if they want to do like Terrifier versus Jason or Terrifier, you know, down whatever that is down the line, you know, I always like that because I can't believe that it's 2025. There hasn't been a new Friday the 13th movie in years, Nightmare on Elm Street in years. And the fact that they don't even use them anymore, it's crazy.
Well, Friday the 13th, isn't it in like some kind of like who has the rights?
So somebody has the rights to just Jason, and then somebody has the rights to Friday the 13th, the first one. So they're making a Friday the 13th series on Peacock, I think. But I keep hearing rumors. I just don't know if like I feel like I keep hearing about it, but I don't see anything about it. So if that's the case, like there's no trailer, there's no anything. It's just like
a Jason show. I don't know, man. Where like it takes place like over weeks. Like I think that could be a little testing. You know what I mean?
So that one is about the mother. It's about the mother from the first one, and then the other one they want to make a movie. At one point, they had LeBron James was attached to it, like he was producing a Friday the 13th movie, but then that didn't happen. And then I think the newer things now, because I'm a big fan of Jason and all that stuff, is I think they want to do like Friday the 13th universe where it's like they can get different creators, different, you know, people to do their spin on what Jason would be. But again, it's been forever. There hasn't been anything in a long time.
Yeah.
So for the TV show, they're gonna just rip off Psycho again. Like
yeah, well, they did so well.
Like Bates Motel, wasn't that about like his mom and like
yes
hiding the belt? Like I tried to watch that. It just
that ran for a long time too, right? Didn't that run for
like 4 or 5 seasons?
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, for sure. It was okay. I mean, what's her name? Fermina.
Oh yeah, she was in the Departed, right?
Yeah, I like her. She's all right.
And she's in The Conjuring, right? The other one. I think.
Conjuring. She plays the wife, couple, right? The paranormal like investigators. Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren, Ed and Elizabeth Warren. I actually liked the first 2 Conjuring movies.
They were good.
I like that cheese. I like the whole like love can stop the theme.
That's right. Bringing this full circle. Love conquers all.
Yeah, it was a kind of a neat thing to see it like a horror movie at that time because like you know like a lot of they were mostly like making possession movies at that time, and like Saws were like kind of the big thing, and then like Conjuring came out and kind of like brought the focus to this highbrow horror we have, even though I wouldn't really call The Conjuring like actual part of the highbrow horror, but they kind of helped usher it in.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I love Ari Aster, like Midsummer. It was great. I thought what's the name of it? The Ari Aster, the ghost one that he did. About Greek. Hold on.
Because he did Hereditary.
Oh, Hereditary.
Okay.
Yeah, that I think that one might be the last like really scary movie I saw because you knew what was going to happen, you just didn't know when it was going to happen.
Yeah, and that
to me is that's fear, and that's the best type of fear.
Has one of the most fucked up death scenes too. I
Oh yeah, with the saw through the thing.
Yeah, or the car,
or the little girl. Yep, that one too.
I was like, holy fuck! I was like, oh my god! I was like, it was.
But the fact that the kid, when that happens, he just goes to bed. Like he's like, I'll deal with this shit in the morning.
Yeah.
I gotta go to bed. This is not. I can't
I can't handle this too much for my brain. I wake up, it was just a bad dream after all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to the Kickstarter, Zombie Date Night 2. We have the descriptions in the chats and in the descriptions. So Ben, you said you're going to a lot of cons. You have a lot of cons coming up. Would you want to plug your
sure,
more recent ones that are coming?
I'm going to be at Indie Comic Creator Con in New Haven this Saturday. Oh. I'm going to be in Philly next week for the Ghoul-tastic Book Fair in Media, Pennsylvania. And then a week later from that, I'm going to be in Glen Falls, New York for there's a place called Beldame Books. They're doing an independent comic expo. And then I'm going to be in Rochester on April 12th for Rochester Independent Comic Expo. So if you're listening and you're in any of those areas, come visit, come say hello. If I'm at a con near you down the line, just come say hello, say you like the show, and I'll give you $5 off.
Yeah, anybody in the tri-state area, man, like you're gonna get to see them very recently. I guess more than the tri-state, Connecticut.
Yeah, I'll go anywhere. Like I'm looking at as many different places as I can. I did Nashville, I did St. Louis, I've done Chicago. Wherever anybody will take me, I'll bring my comics and sling my wares.
Did you wear a cowboy hat to Nashville? Did you
Nashville? So here's the thing, Nashville, I thought that's what we were gonna get when I went there, and it was very like progressive and very like liberal and very I'd say more hipster in Nashville, and I was very surprised by it. Like when I did the Comic-Con, I was like, wow, this is I could move here. Like there's a lot, it's very open. Everybody's this is less redneck than I thought. But then they say they like stay here and don't go further than that.
Okay.
Tennessee.
So you weren't kidding when you said you're really hitting the cons. I mean, you have.
I want to make vacations out of it and just reach new territories, reach new people, and see what works and what doesn't work in different places. Mm-hmm. And there's so many great artists and writers that I've been able to meet on my travels, which is really cool too. And just like, people are just so kind, and these people are creating and I feel like in indie comics, I mean, maybe I'm just naive, but just everybody's not like trying to slit each other's throats. It's just like, hey, you're doing this thing. That's awesome. Like, how could I help? Like, what could I do to spread the word and share, to other people and get more eyes on it. But it's just very cool community. I'm very grateful to be part of comics, both the horror community and the comic community.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the cool thing about you, man. Like, you're not trying to like make a TV show or a movie. You're doing it because you like comics, man. And that's another reason why people should back your Kickstarter.
Yeah, I'm just a kid who loved Green Lantern and shitty horror movies at Blockbuster. You know what I mean? I want my things to be because remember I would go as a kid to Blockbuster and we'd rent or check out these ridiculous horror movies, and then they wouldn't be good. Or I wouldn't have a fun time. And my thing is like, I want you to look at these covers and be like, oh, that's crazy. And it's like, and I had a fun time. That's the goal for these. Because listen, you'd go and you'd see like Ice Cream Man with Ron Howard's brother on the cover. You'd be like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, that was the thing, when like you'd have to go by the box.
Yeah. And the box usually had
the synopsis on the back. That's what you had to go with.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're talking about Clint Howard. He's already scary looking.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean? I remember that. I remember The Dentist.
Dr. Giggles.
Dr. Giggles or Killjoy. Puppet Master.
I want Joe to watch Killjoy. That shit is so funny. I'd love to review that.
Killjoy.
Come alive, Killjoy. Come alive.
I watched it just a couple months ago.
Oh, did you actually watch it?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that
Oh,
shit
man.
is so funny, dude.
It's something.
I mean, I think there's so much fun. You know, I know people are like, oh, sometimes these are bad movies or whatever. It's like, why is it bad? Are you entertained by it? Do you remember it? Like, I mean, look at it's not a full moon movie, but like Sleepaway Camp. Like Sleepaway Camp is not a perfect movie, but that ending will stay with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So it's part of you. Like it's part of you when you watch things like this, and you know that's what I hope to that somebody's on their deathbed one day and being like slow pokes. You know what
I mean? Have the slow pokes do a reveal like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, man. 32 more days to for
32
Zombie
more
Date
sleep.
Night 2.
Oh,
yes.
And if you want to get your hands on issue 1 early, like Steve said, he's going to be at a few cons from now till the end of the campaign. So you can go pick up issue 1 and read that now. And
and also on the campaign, if you missed the first Zombie Date Night, there's a tier where you can get caught up on and buy the first one.
Yeah, but if you don't want to wait for the end of the campaign and you get your hands on it now, go hit up Steve at a convention.
Yes,
and, go buy the first issue there, and
you could also check it out digitally on Global Comics. It's all there
as well.
All my comics are there as well.
I got one more question.
Sure.
The
I'm here
poem,
as long as you need.
The poem that's in the Zombie Date Night 2 video on Kickstarter. Did you write that, man? I love the pun.
Yep, I wrote that. I worked on that. You know, just roses are red, black, just trying to do that. So I also tied that into my Valentines that I make for the highest tier. So I'm not a great artist, but I'm a decent writer. So I will write you a specific Valentine. If you have a request, so I do Valentines for friends and you know, my future wife all the time, and I just do the most ridiculous things that I can. Like I did one last year that it was a turtle, and I just said, "You're turtly awesome." So you'll be. Let me see. You know what? I think I have some here with me. Hold on.
Well, maybe he'll get a job at Hallmark, man.
Yeah, I love punny stuff, man. I can't help it. I guess it's with my age.
I did an otter, and it said, "Your otter this world is otter dressed up like a space person."
Yeah.
But yeah, the goal for these greeting cards, if people like them enough, start selling them at print shops too. Because at this end of the day, I have an LLC, and it's all going to go under there. So it's like,
fuck yeah, be the new Ziggy, man. Be the new Wizard of Id, you know? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, we haven't had a Ziggy since like, I don't know, I was like in junior high. Like he's definitely needs room for replacing, you know what I mean?
I think comic strips now, like there's no Garfield or anything like that right now. Like I feel like, you know, now's the time.
The last one I kind of enjoyed, but it's been a long time since I read it, was Pets and Zits. But like I don't even know if they still run those.
Well, I think it's because there's so fewer newspapers now. People don't pick up the newspapers, right? So when you're a kid, your dad would like pick up whatever, and then what would you do? I know I would run right to you want that comic section for the strips, right? And you kind of lost that kind of Saturday, Sunday morning.
I've always got a
ritual.
I always kind of been in awe of it, though, man. I can't imagine trying to tell a story in 3 panels. Like that is some talent, you know what I mean? Even if most of them suck, you know, like trying to like actually do a narrative in 3 panels, you know, like damn.
I mean, maybe that's the next challenge. I would love to do a comic strip of, but I just don't know where I'd put that because there's you know what I mean? Like nobody reads. I mean, I guess Instagram there's stuff, but you need, you know, it's just the right platform. I think a lot of these things too, comics, you just need the right outlet to find your people.
Substack, maybe. I mean, like that might be
Substack might work
to do a little strip.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. You know what? A horror comic strip would be cool too, because I've never seen that.
Like like a weekly strip. Yeah. That would be cool. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. I've always been interested in like that format, just because like it's so limited. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's limited and like, you know, I feel like there was a boom, right? There's a lot of comic strips, and then they just went away. Like Garfield, Family Circus, the soldier one,
Beetle Billy.
Yeah, Beetle Bailey. Like, what happened to that? Let's bring that back.
Blondie and Dagwood. Yeah.
There's so many things from. I mean, I'm getting older now, but like Wizard Magazine, I loved. Disney Adventure. The fact that Disney Adventure doesn't exist anymore in some capacity is a travesty, because it's like it was for kids. It was like pocket size. You'd get comic strips in there, interviews with people who were hot at the moment, and then you'd get like, oh, this movie's coming out. Here's some like secret stuff from it.
And kiss tips from the what's it called? The Lawrence brothers. That's who was hot back then. Joey Lawrence.
Oh yeah, Joey. Yeah.
He was always up in Disney Adventure magazine, man.
That's true. And it was all three of them too. It's like, what a time that was.
Yeah. People loved them fucking 3-boy families. You had the Hansons came out after.
Like, 3-boy families. There you go. That could be a reality show on Netflix. 3-boy family.
Yeah.
But all right. Yeah, that was our newest interview with Steve, man. It's always so amazing to have him on the show. Like I said, man, he's basically intrinsically joined with this show, in my opinion,
absolutely.
just because of the connection we have with them. So like he'll definitely
and congratulations to you guys for still being on the air. So many shows that I did when I first started doing this are no longer exist. So congratulations on still going and still interviewing comic creators and being a positive force in comics.
Yeah, thanks. And I think you were one of the first when we rebranded. I think maybe our first episode was maybe.
No, he was our last episode is Pink Buzz.
Oh, the last episode of Pink Buzz. Okay, that's what it was.
Our first interview and our last interview on Pink Buzz. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I think we have like what? We're almost at 270 now episodes. 270.
Wow.
So yeah, we're getting up there.
You started going into syndication.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it? It takes
100 episodes, I think.
100. I thought it was 60, but yeah, probably 100. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
I know cartoons had to be like 60 something episodes, right?
Yeah.
That's why G.I. Joe and all of them
ran for 60 something. Yeah.
So that way they could get like replays and shit.
Money.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Now,
good old days.
Now we just got Robert Kirkman to stick G.I. Joe in our face. So yeah. But yeah, man, it's always great to have you, Steve. We're going to try to talk about Creature Commandos in the next episode. We're going to try to get some interesting guests. I'm hoping we can pull it off. It'll be hopefully a Sunday afternoon episode. Like we got kind of planned. It might be next week at the latest, but to try to wrangle up the talent that we want to be on here, but it should be fun. And I really enjoyed our Daredevil talk. So I think that having the whole season of Creature Commandos to talk about, we're going to go even wilder. So
awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we got going on next. And hopefully that'll be Saturday or Sunday. So we'll see you guys then. And thanks for always being around, people. I'm actually going to play it this time.